Good morning, friends. Today I am going to present a topic on salient features of the Indian Constitution. So in this chapter we will learn about how the Indian Constitution has been framed and what are the features of the Indian Constitution. So originally it has the 395 articles divided in 22 parts and 8 schedules, which is one of the lengthiest constitution of the world. It means it says that originally when the constitution has been built up, there is the 395 articles divided into 22 parts, and basically it has the 8 schedules, which is the lengthiest constitution of the world, with systematic elaboration of every topic. Every topic has been elaborated in a defined way. So at present it contains 448 articles, 12 schedules as a result of various amendments. So we know that there is amendment in the constitution, and such amendments is lead to the increment of the articles. So it leads to the present article to be 448 articles, 12 schedules as a result of various amendments. So now there is 101 amendment in the Indian Constitution, including the GST amendment. So what are the basic salient features? First, of the lengthiest written constitution. So it is the lengthiest written constitution in the world. As we have already discussed, the Constitution of India is one of the lengthiest constitution. So as it compares, the Constitution of India is said to be the longest written constitution of the world because it contains what it contains. It contains separate provision for state and center. So we have a state and we have center. So separate provisions have been given to the state and separate provision have been given to the state and center, and their interrelationship, how they are interrelated to each other. So the borrowed provision from several sources and several other constitution of the world. As we know, friend, all the constitution of India that has been written over there has been borrowed from somewhere else, from France, from Canada, from Germany, everywhere from the world it has been borrowed. So the separation of provision for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, women, children and backward region. So what it says? It says the separation provision for what? Scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, women, children and backward region. So it contains the detailed list of individual rights, directive principle of the state policy and details of administration procedure which were laid down to make the constitution an easy handy. So what it contains? It contains a detailed list of what? Individual rights. So every individual rights have their own, and the individual rights must be given to run the constitution. So every individual have been provided with their individual rights. So all the individual rights have been written in the constitution. So we have the directive principle of state policy, how the state is being dealt, how the policy is being framed. All the principles have been directly given to the directive principle of state policies, and details of administrative procedures. So administrative procedures have been also given. So how the country, how the state have been run, how the administration is used to run the government. So all the principles and policies of the administrative procedures have been laid down in the constitution, which makes them handy. So these are the constitutions where the longest written constitution have been framed. So we move to the next topic. Now, unique blend of rigidity and flexibility. So unique blend of rigidity and flexibility is described in one sentence, that is, due to its amendment procedure it is rigid as well as flexible. So now a constitution may be called rigid and flexible on the basis of its amending procedure. How we can amend this constitution will give its the rigidity and flexibility. So the some parts of the amending of the basic law making procedure while contain provision can be amended only when a bill of the purpose is passed in each house of the parliament. So when amendment of any making procedure, the amended only in where a bill for that purpose is passed in each house, every house of the parliament by majority. So majority parliament have been passed of the total membership of that house, and by the majority of not less than 2/3 of the member of that present and voting. So it requires 2/3 of the present and voting to amend the basic law. Whom to amend? Basic law. So this is the important question for UPSC also and JPSC. So they ask what are the basic law making procedures. So basic law making procedure is to have 2/3 majority have been voted and passed the amendment in each house of the parliament. So you have to take the 2/3 of the present and voting in the constitution to make a basic law making procedure. Now other thing is that some amendments also required by the ratified by the legislature of not less than one of the states before being presented to the president for assent. So one half of the majority of the state has to be ratified. What states? It has to be ratified by the one half of the state before being presented to the president for assent. So when the president is giving the assent to ratify the amendment, it has to be present for the one half of the state. And in this case, 2/3 majority has been provided to pass the amending procedure. Now we move to the next topic. India is a sovereign, socialist, democratic and republic. So it says that India is governed by its people. Whom it's governed? It's by its people through their representative elected on the basis of universal adult franchise. So representative is being elected by making the vote through the universal adult franchise, government of the people, by the people and for the people. So we have the emblem, government for the people, of the people, by the people and for the people. So we elect our representative by giving vote in a democratic country. So first of all, what is sovereign? So sovereign described as all affairs managed without any external forces. So it's internal and external affairs freely without any external forces. All the affairs is being managed by the Home Affairs. So no other country has been involved to manage its external affairs. However, it continues to be a member of Commonwealth of Nations with the British monarch of its head. So as we all know that Commonwealth of Nations has its head and British monarch as its head. Now the meaning of socialist. So socialist has been amended in 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Socialist term has been added. Socialist term has been added, which means the achievement of socialist goals. However, India follow the mixed model of socialist and capitalist economy. So we have the mixed model of socialist economy as well as of the capitalist economy. So socialist is the basic features in the Indian constitution. Now what the meaning of secular? So secular means it recognizes all religion. It recognizes what? It all religion equally without having any state religion, which is the part of the basic structure. So there is no state religion in any state. All the religion has been treated as equal. And now what is the meaning of republic? So republic means the head of the state. Head of the state. Who is the head of the state? President is elected one and not the monarch. So there is no monarch system in the Indian constitution. There is a president and president is the elected one, and it said that it is not a monarch, means it is not made by the simple by birth. So it is being elected one. Now parliament system of government. The next topic is the parliamentary system of government. So we all know that India has the parliamentary system of government where the prime minister is being elected. So theoretically, parliament controls the functioning of the council of ministers, hence it is called the parliamentary system. So parliament what controls? It controls the functioning of the council of ministers. So we elect the council of ministers and council of ministers make the prime minister, hence it is called the parliamentary system. So here executive is responsible for legislature and remains in power as long as it enjoys the confidence in the legislature. So when we provide the majority by electing our rights by giving vote, we are responsible for the to the legislature and remains in power. What it says? It says that the legislature remains in power and enjoys confidence when as long as it enjoys the confidence. Now, the President of India who remains in office for 5 years is the nominal, titular and constitutional head. That is the executive. So, President does not have any power. It is remain for the office for the 5 years and it is only a nominal head, not in a power. And it is a titular which used to give assent to any of the amendments and whatever there is, which is the constitutional executive, constitutional head of the executive. Now the prime minister is the real executive. Who is the real executive? The prime minister. It is only a nominal executive. So basically question comes in JPSC or UPSC that president is the nominal head or the real head. So we can say that it is only for the name head, that is for the name, and the real executive is the Prime Minister and the head of the Council of Ministers, who is collectively responsible to lower houses. So Prime Minister is collectively responsible to lower house, that is the Lok Sabha. So whatever is being done, whether it enjoys the confidence or not, it is always responsible to the Lok Sabha, that is the lower house of the parliament. So here the differences from the president and prime minister is that president is the nominal head, while the prime minister is the real executive or real head of the constitution. So whatever the decisions being taken by the prime minister, not by the president. Now we move to the next topic, that is the single citizenship. Unlike federation, where citizen enjoys the dual citizenship of both the state and union, India has the single citizenship provided by the union and recognized by the state across India. So we have a single citizen to whole of the India. No other citizenship for the state has been required in the state of India. So India has the single citizenship and provided by the union. Who provide the single citizenship? The single citizenship is being provided by the union and recognized. Who recognized this? State. So where you are freely to move in any state across India. So we have the single citizenship. The next topic is the universal adult franchise. As we all know that everyone has the power to elect their representative by casting their vote. So the Indian Constitution establishes political equality in India through the method of universal adult franchise. So what it establishes, Indian Constitution establishes political equality. So every poor or a rich people have their equal rights in casting their vote in India. Through the method name is the universal adult franchise, which functions on the basis of one person, one vote. So every person has right to vote and one person have the vote capacity, that is one vote. And every Indian who is 18 years of age, when he attains the 18 years of age or above, is entitled to vote in the election irrespective of caste, sex, race, religion or status. So what it says, whether it is a male or a female, whether it is of whatever there is a caste, what race they belong to, what religion they follow, what status they have, the rich or poor, every Indian person has the right to vote and every person has one vote capacity to cast their vote. Now we move to the next topic. Now we have the independent and integrated judicial system. So our judicial system is independent and also it is said to be as an integrated judicial system. So what it says, the judiciary is kept free from the influence of the executive and the legislature. So there is no influence of executive and legislator in the judiciary. So we cannot influence the judiciary by applying the executive and legislative powers. As an integrated system, India has the Supreme Court as the apex court, below which high courts come. So Supreme Court is the main court or apex court, and below which the high court come. The high court is supervise the lower court. So in Delhi we have the Supreme Court, and high court every state or majority of the state have the high court. In some state there is no high court, which run according to the upper high court, and basically in districts we have lower courts. Now fundamental rights and fundamental duties and directive principle of a state policy. So as we have already discussed that fundamental rights is the basic thing to run the fundamental institution of the constitution. So fundamental rights are not absolute but are subject to the limitation which are expressly defined in the constitution itself and enforceable in the court of law. So what it says, fundamental are not absolute, which means that you are not given the power of the absolute fundamental rights. Means it may be suspended in times of calamities or in times of any emergentic situations. So it is not absolute and subject to the limitation. So there is a limitation imposed on the fundamental rights of every individual, which are expressly defined by the constitution. What it says, it is expressly defined in the constitution, which we have to read in the further chapter. What is the fundamental rights and when it can be suspended itself and are enforceable in the court of law. So what are the fundamentals is being given to the individual has been enforceable in the court of law. Now the DPSA are the guidelines to be followed by the state. As we already discussed that DPS is the guideline followed by the state regarding the governance and are enforceable in the court of are not enforceable in the court of law. So DPSP is not enforceable. Always remember that DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy, is not enforceable in the court of law. Means if the violation of the DPSP takes place in the state, you are not able to move to the court for its enforcement. Now we move to the next. Now the fundamental duties. The fundamental duties is added by the 42nd amendment. The question comes in JPSC or UPSC when the fundamental duties has been amended. So it is amended by the 42nd amendment of the Indian Constitution. So it's a moral conscience. What it says, it's a moral conscience which ought to be followed by the citizens. So you have the moral duties, moral conscience that you do not have to, you have to respect the flag of our India flag or other things. We have to read the fundamental duties of individuals for the chapter in details. Now we are not going to discuss over here. So it is amendment in the 42nd amendment, and you have to understand it is a moral conscience which ought to be followed by the citizen. Now we move to the next topic, that is the federation with a strong centralizing tendency. So a federation with a strong centralizing tendency in the time of India is an indestructible union with a destructible state, which means it acquires a unitary character during the time of emergency. What it says, when during the time of emergency all the powers is being lying in the hand of the centralizing power. But some experts says it's a quasi-federal in nature. So what it says, when there is a time of emergency, all the powers is being united in the center. And when we know that state means destructible, means the formation of Jharkhand, the formation of Chhattisgarh. So how it formed? By the destructible state. We can destruct the state but not the center. So destructible state, not the destructible union. Now balancing parliamentary supremacy with the judicial review. So what it says, balancing parliamentary supremacy with the judicial review. There is a power of judicial review by the Supreme Court or the High Court. So an independent judiciary with the power of judicial review is a prominent feature of our constitution. So the harmonization which our constitution has affected between the parliamentary sovereignty and the written constitution with a provision for judicial review. So whatever there is a parliamentary sovereignty of their constitution, that has to be written by the parliament, but it may have to be followed by the judicial review, which is an important achievement of the framer of the Indian Constitution. So whether it is right for the individual, whether it is right for the state, whether it is right for the country, it has to be judicially reviewed by the Supreme Court or the High Court, through which the validity of the amendment has to be granted. So basically we dealt the salient features of the Indian Constitution. These are the salient features of the Indian Constitution, where we have discussed India as a sovereign, socialist, democratic and republic state, parliamentary system of government, single citizenship, universal adult franchise, independent and integrated judicial system, fundamental rights, fundamental duties and directive principle of a state policy, balancing parliamentary supremacy with a judicial review, a federation with a strong centralizing tendency, unique blend of rigidity and flexibility, and last but not the least, longest written Indian Constitution in the world. So it's all about today. Further we move to the next topic, that is the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Thank you. If you like my video, please like, subscribe and share, so that all the students get benefited from this video. Thank you.